Welcome back, everybody. So let's talk about this new Superman movie that got released last week or the week before. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, I was one of these people that was absolutely mortified that they replaced Henry Cavill as Superman. The reason for that is that we were going down the Injustice route, and I really wanted to go and see that more of that universe, or a live action version of that universe. That being said, we don't always get what we want, and you have to deal with what you get after that. There introduces the introduction of James Gunn and David Zaslav, who took over Warner Brothers, who wanted to go in a completely different direction, which was automatically a worry for me. Okay, so when the trailers for this movie come out, I watched the trailers, I was like, yeah, it looks alright. Am I going to rush to go and see it? Probably not. The reason for that is because I feel like it was going to have this Guardians of the Galaxy kind of tone, with loads of comedic moments and all that kind of stuff, and it was just a huge worry, so I was never really in a rush to go and see this movie. That being said, today I decided to watch this movie, and I will be 100% honest with you, I actually got quite a fair bit of entertainment from this movie. There is a problem with this movie. I find there is one problem with this movie which really kind of stands out for me, but as a whole, as a general, it was extremely entertaining. And this is how much I haven't paid really much interest to this movie, is I don't really know who stars in it, or I don't really know who the actors are. Like Nicholas Hoult, I know, was Lex Luthor, who, to be fair, is probably one of the best Lex Luthors I've seen of recent time. Not the best, but one of the best. I found them very entertaining in this movie. Other characters in this movie I really do enjoy is obviously Superman, and this is he is the key character. He's the main character of this movie. It was always a worry of how he was going to portray this version of Superman. I actually generally liked it. He's a lot more vulnerable in this movie. He's a lot more human in this movie as well, which I actually generally enjoyed. You get to see him hurt. You get to see him struggle. You get to see his feelings. There's a scene in there where you actually see him cry, which I won't say what it is or why it happens, but he cries, and you just see him a lot more kind of... It's a lot more rawer, if that makes sense. You can see he's trying to do his best, but he has to deal with the emotions of everything else at the same time, and he just made him a little bit more human. He does get hurt. You do see him get beat up quite a fair bit in this movie, to be honest with you, you do. But I think it adds a little bit more to Superman, or this kind of Superman. I actually really enjoyed it. I generally really did. But by far, like I said, Lex Luthor in here, I actually really enjoyed. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. You see his hatred towards Superman quite a lot, and why he's doing what he's doing, which I thought was really great as well. And I generally really enjoyed his character. But by far, one of the characters that really stuck out for me, who was my favourite character out of this, was Krypto the dog. Without Krypto the dog in this movie would have been probably would have got a lower rating. That dog in there is a feral little bastard who actually adds quite a lot of comedic element to this movie. Okay, and I have to be honest with you, I got a bit of an emotional attachment to this dog. I really did. He's one of my favourite characters out of the whole of this movie. Plotline in this movie is, I wouldn't say it's predictable, but it's quite easy to follow, and you could probably, you can predict the plot as it goes through the movie, which I found a little bit disheartening, but it wasn't really enough to spoil it. The one thing that really stuck out for me, and this is the one problem that I had with this movie, is the use of the comedic moments in this movie. And this was my worry, because it was being directed by James Gunn, that Guardians of the Galaxy kind of film. Some of the comedic moments in here were at odd times, in the wrong places. There's a bit where Metropolis is collapsing, and there's all this kind of stuff going on, and they add these kind of really unnecessary comedic moments, which then takes away the seriousness of what's actually going on in Metropolis. We're talking like buildings collapsing, there's people in there and all that kind of stuff. There's a scene where he goes off and saves a squirrel, and I was like, was that needed? Was that bit needed? And the comedic moments were just poorly delivered, because it takes away the seriousness of what was actually happening in that moment, knowing that there are potentially people trapped, there's people dying. It just really tamed off this movie for me a little bit. I'm not saying it's a bad movie in any way, shape or form. Like I said, I got entertainment value from it, but there was moments of comedic kind of value just didn't work at times. In other times, the comedic kind of value to there was actually kind of well delivered. It really, really was. But knowing that I know this universe and knowing that it is darker, it's a little bit more serious, to add that much comedic element into this movie, I just found was just a little bit unnecessary. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. I got quite a fair bit of enjoyment from this movie. I would like to see more of this universe as well, and see where this universe develops, especially because they're going to have to introduce a brand new Batman into this, which is going to be the interesting part, especially for me, knowing I'm a huge Batman fan. But yeah, I got quite a fair bit of entertainment value from it. Like I said, the main problem I had was that the misuse of comedic elements at the wrong time. Just took away the seriousness of what was going on. But apart from that, like I said, it was a good movie. I kind of enjoyed it. Well, I didn't kind of enjoy it. I did actually enjoy it. But if I was to give this a rating, I have to be honest, and this is just my own honest opinion, I can only really give it a 7, maybe a 7.5, because of those, what I said is the reason why it's getting a 7.5. Apart from that, it's actually a solid movie. I actually really, really enjoyed it. It's quite action-packed. You hardly see Clark Kent. I just kind of really, I got entertainment value from it, and that's all I asked for in a movie. So, on that note, hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Whatever you're doing, please take care, and goodbye.